This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah.
I don't see everybody. Oh, okay, let me cut this one off. Can't hear him. Where's the volume? Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
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 Good morning.
Okay, we have a quorum for the annual elections meeting, and it's virtual mostly. So thank you for being here today. I hope you all had a safe weekend. So the first thing is the invocation and pledge of allegiance. Stand with me for pledge of allegiance first. Pledge to the flag of the United
The
States.
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the invocation is, dear Lord, please bless us as we gather here today to conduct business that will affect the citizens of Rio Grande Valley. This special meeting is to appoint the governing body and the membership of our Council of Governments. And we hope that all those that we choose to lead us in a matter in your guidance and with your will. We ask you to bless our speakers and that you would bless our time together today. And we pray these holy things in your name, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, the first item, I guess, we have is the consider approval of the January 27th, 2021 meeting minutes. Okay,
City Rainbow moves to approve the minutes.
Johnny Garcia, second.
a motion and a second to approve the minutes. Did you get that?
Johnny Garcia, second.
Okay. Yeah.
Who motion?
Who made the motion?
The City of Rainbow, Edward Gonzalez.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, any corrections or deletions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Next, a report on the caucus results to seat new members. And man, you got that?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. Well, I thought we were going to start this meeting with a dance-off between Mayor Darling and Commissioner Cantu from Hidalgo County, but I guess not, right?
Right. No.
No, okay. Thank you so much for joining us again. Good afternoon. As the agenda reads, this is the results of the caucus meetings that took place virtually again this year, Thursday, May the 20th, between 8 o'clock to 12 p.m. Let me read off the results of which will reflect the positions for the board positions on the board of directors. So letter A, the three directors representing member cities with population of between 10,000 and 24,999. The cities and representatives will be City of Alamo, Commissioner Pilar Garza, City of Mercedes, Mayor Oscar Montoya, City of Raymondville, Commissioner Edward Gonzalez. Item B, the three directors representing member cities with population of 10,000 would be City of Lyford, Mayor Richard Salinas, City of Primera, Mayor Jorge Ledesma, City of Rancho Viejo, Mayor Maribel Guerrero. Item number C, the two representatives or director representatives from the educational institutions from South Texas College, Mr. Paul Hernandez, and South Texas Technical College is going to be Ms. Marisela de Leon. Item number D, the two directors representing special government units, Delta Lake Irrigation District, Mr. Troy Allen, from Fort Mansfield Public Utilities, Mr. Ron Mills. Item number E, one director representing grassroots organizations from Proyecto Juan Diego, Ms. Lupita Sanchez. Mr. President, no action is required because this is a result of the caucusing meetings with the automatic appointment to fill the board seats.
Okay, and congratulations then to the new board members and or holdover board members as a result of the caucus. The next item is item number 4, which is action on recommendations from the nominating committee. The first item is election of 5 members at large to serve on the general membership for the term. The nominating committee met on May 12, 2021, and it nominated Ms. Ann Cass from McAllen, from Hidalgo County, Mr. David Pinoli, McAllen, Hidalgo County, and Mayor Jim Darling from McAllen, Hidalgo County. We have two seats open, and we would take nominations today for those and or any other nominations before we vote. And so there's any other additional nominations for the at-large members to the general membership. Mayor Darling.
Yes, Mayor Darling is Mayor Salinas.
Council member from the city of Combs, and he is online and would like to say a few words. Okay, is Mr. Estrada online here?
Yes, I am.
Well, go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You may not be able to see me because there's not enough camera space, but yeah, I'd like to say thank you to Commissioner Garza and Mr. Guerrero for approaching me about this nomination. I appreciate the time in front of the board. I have had the pleasure of meeting many of you already, and I look forward to meeting all of you in person, especially now that we're coming out of the pandemic. A task that I know everyone here has played a strong role in and as leaders in your communities and local governments. A little bit about myself. I have had the privilege to serve as a commissioner at the city of Combs for several years. I've also served as a member of the EDC, and I'm happy to say that I've been reelected and I'm serving as a mayor pro tem currently. But I don't want to bore everybody about me and a list about my accolades. What I'd like to emphasize is that if I am given the privilege of serving on this board or in this group, that I would bring an open mind to all our meetings and engage with all of you by first listening and then taking action together to push the vision that the board has already had and succeeding in pushing forward. So my ultimate goal is to improve the lives of the citizens that we serve and to make it a better, brighter future for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And is there any other nominations from the membership?
Mayor Darling, can you hear me?
Yes.
This is Mayor Salinas from the city of Lyford. I would like to nominate Mayor George Rivera. O'Malley.
Joe Rivera, okay. George Rivera, I'm sorry. There, and he's from what? Palm Valley. Okay. Are there any other nominations? Going once? Going twice? Okay, then we would cease nominations, and then the next item is to vote for the 5 nominees as follows: Ann Cass from McAllen, David Pinoli from McAllen, Jim Darling from McAllen, Renee Estrada from Combs, and George Rivera from Palm Valley. Do I have a motion? Do I have a motion? Second. All those in favor say aye. Raise your hand.
Aye.
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 Okay, opposed, same sign. A motion carried, and congratulations to those members. The next item is act on recommendations from the nominating committee for election of officers for the 2021-2022 term. The nominating committee recommend the following officers: for president, Judge Aurelio Guerra from Willis County. President, Mayor Ambrosio Hernandez from Hidalgo. Second vice president, Mayor Chris Boswell from Cameron. Secretary, Mayor Trey Mendez from Cameron. Treasurer, Mayor David Suarez from Hidalgo. And immediate past president, Mayor Jim Darling from Hidalgo. Is there any other nominations? Hearing none, I entertain to approve the recommendation of slate of officers for the year 2021-2022 term.
Johnny Garcia, motion to approve.
Okay, is that a second? We already had a motion over here. You get it?
Mayor George Rivera seconds.
Okay, Mayor George Rivera, second. Any discussion?
Mayor
Hearing none.
Darling, Mayor
Yes, sir.
Darling is Mayor Salinas. Could you say those names again? Because I'm looking at something and I didn't see
Okay,
what's in front of us.
the president is Judge Aurelio Guerra from Willis County. Vice president, first vice president, Mayor Ambrosio Hernandez from Hidalgo. Second vice president, Mayor Chris Boswell from Cameron. Secretary, Mayor Trey Mendez from Cameron. Treasurer, Mayor David Suarez from Hidalgo. And immediate past president, Mayor Jim Darling from Hidalgo.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, unless we have any clarification of that, we have a motion and second to approve the election of officers as presented for the year 2021-22. All those in favor say aye or raise your hands.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, opposed, same sign. Nobody there. Okay, then they stand elected. Congratulations, members, and good luck for 21-22. That's the end of the annual elections meeting. And thank you very much. We verified that we have a quorum for the board of directors meeting. And I think we already did a roll call. We did that, and we'll let the invocation and the pledge stand for the prior meeting for this meeting because it's the same people involved. Return to me first meeting. The next is and Mayor, one of the comments that we have an item. If you want to wait, we can do it now. We have this is before we do public comment. And Mayor Malik. There you go. You can see him. He just sat down. If you can see the boardroom picture, raise your hand, Mayor. There you go.
Did we do a roll call?
We don't need a roll call because we already called it. We already did it based on the prior meeting of the membership staff, of the members for the election. We don't need one. Go ahead.
Mayor Darling,
Quick, I did sign up.
Mayor Darling, was I
Online, you have please mute your lines, mute your laptops, microphones. Thank you.
Yes, my question was earlier, was I accounted for, Mayor?
I think some guys are barely logging on, right? Thank you, Mayor Darling, for giving me the floor. Just really quickly, I did sign up for public comments. I am the alternate on the board. We do have Councilmember Johnny Garcia that represents the city of Edinburgh. One of the things that I did want to bring up, and why am I using this forum? Because this is the way that I could get to everybody the quickest way instead of calling everybody one by one. So one of the things that we did is we had a meeting on May the 18th at the Edinburgh City Council meeting, and we passed a resolution to ask the appraisal district to freeze the property taxes. This is something where we were getting an overwhelming amount of people showing up to public comments, and we felt like we had to take a stand. You know, there's a lot of people. I got a call on the way over here from a citizen that asked what was my next move, and I said, well, this is why I'm here in this forum here where I can talk to everybody. And there's not going to be any action taken on this, but I just want everybody to know the reason that we're doing this. Times have been challenging physically, mentally, and financially for all of us during the pandemic. So myself and the City Council of Edinburgh did unanimously pass a resolution, and we're asking, respectfully urging and strongly recommending the Hidalgo County Appraisal District freeze all tax valuations. We've heard from many concerned citizens about the significant increase in property valuations for 2021, and we feel the increased property values will pose a financial burden to our citizens who are already feeling the economic impacts of COVID-19. We want our residents to know that only do we hear your concerns, but we also understand and agree with where you're coming from. It's why our city council voted on this resolution. I'm going to pass out the resolution so you guys can look at it. But I think we need to get on the same page of this. Our vote does matter when it comes to putting the people on the appraisal board. I have invited them to come to our council meeting to explain how they did come to some of the appraisal values. And people are asking questions. I just think that it's our job as the city leaders and county leaders to actually get them an answer. I know that some of the people that have gone down there, they've referred them right back to us, saying that we're the ones that need to drop exactly. So we're not getting the answers, and the people are frustrated. So that's why I'm here today. Like I said, I'm going to pass this out to you guys so you can look at it. And I think the next step with Councilmember Garcia will be requested in writing that this come up on an agenda item.
If I could offer a suggestion, I think it's still the rule, because I did this when I was city attorney years ago. The city has the ability to contest a category of tax assessment. So you could actually file a lawsuit against all residential homesteads, for instance. I think that's one category. And contest those appraisals, and the municipality can do that. Normally it's where the city's trying to raise them and not lower them, but there's no restriction whether it's raising or lower. So and it has to be a whole category. It can't be individuals or single family moms or whatever it is. It's got to be a whole tax category. So that may be a route that you could take that's legal. I think it's still time. You still have until next week or something to contest the appraisals. This is a suggestion. May 31st. Yeah, I think that's a suggestion. You might talk to your city attorneys to see whether they want to do that. Okay, thank you very much, Mayor.
All right, just so you know, we were aware of that, Mayor, but we're just trying to get everybody else on board, because I know a lot of people had asked, what's McAllen doing? What's FAR doing? What are the other cities doing? Are they in agreement, or is this just for the city of Edinburgh? So I'm just trying to relay the message so that we can all get on the same page. But thank you for having me.
Right. Okay, thank you, sir.
Great.
Thank you. Okay, any other, no, next item is consideration and action to approve meeting minutes of April 28th, 2021 that were sent out to you. Yeah. Okay. Okay, do I have a motion to approve the minutes of April 28th, 2021? Okay, Mayor Mendez moved and Mayor Hernandez seconded. Any additions or deletions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Now we skip to no more public comment, I don't think. Do we have anybody from the legislative delegation? They're pretty busy up in Austin, and if they're here, they shouldn't be. So, okay. Item number 4, administration. Consider action on recommendation from the nominating committee. And so that we heard the nominating committee before, and that was the 5 persons for election as that member large to at the board. And that's item what, 3? And if, for all those that were at the nominating committee, the nominations were Mr. Eleazar Yogi Garcia from Raymondville, Mr. Sergio Contreras from Mission for Hidalgo County, Mr. Noel Bernal for Brownsville, Cameron County, and Chris Gonzalez Mission for Hidalgo County. And that is a selection of 5 members at large for the general membership. Is there any other nominations? There's one vacancy. I think there was a vacancy from last year too. It didn't get filled. We can do it during the year if we want to have a nominee, if we want to, but does anybody want to be nominated for a membership at large? Hearing none, then we'll vote on the 4. As I mentioned, I'll have a motion to approve the recommendations of the 4.
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. I fell asleep here. I wanted to nominate Maria Luisa Gonzalez, Commissioner, City of Lyford.
That's a nomination. Any other nominations? Hearing none, it'd be the 4 I listed, with additional Maria Gonzalez from the City of Lyford. Okay, I'm going to close the nominations unless anyone has one. The nominations are closed. I have a motion to approve.
Make a motion, Troy Allen.
Okay, Troy, you second. Mayor Hernandez made the motion. All those in favor say aye or raise your hands.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. The next one is a selection of 3 members at large to be elected to the 2022 Board of Directors. Is that right? On the next one? Oh. Okay, got it. So the nominating committee recommend the following individuals to fill the 3 at-large seats on the Board of Directors for 2021-2022. Elizar Garcia, from Raymondville, Mr. Sergio Contreras, Mission from Hidalgo, and Mayor Jim Darling McAllen from Hidalgo. Is there any other nominations? We got a motion to close the nominations and approve the recommendation. And Mayor Hernandez, you seconded it? Okay, a motion and second to close the nominations and to elect the 3 people to the board at large. All those in favor say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Okay. Executive Director report. Manny, you want your computer back? That normally we wait till the next meeting, so that would be the June meeting. But I'd be glad to turn the gavel over anytime you want. Thanks.
Okay, really quick, I'm not going to belabor this too long due to the interest of time. So just wanted to introduce new staff to the board. As you can see on your screen and your tablets, we did have 3 new folks join the LRGVDC family. So we have Karen C. Rivera for our finance department, Rosie M. Martinez, dispatcher for Valley Metro, Mr. Horacio E. Garza for Valley Metro. He's the new bike share coordinator, and Mr. Mauro Sanchez for Valley Metro. Item number 2, I did attach a list of the bills that we are keeping an eye out on. We did receive an update as of the 14th of May, and I just updated it this week with any updates that took place on any of the bills. I guess one of the most significant for us would be the increase in the 911 fees. Unfortunately, that did not pass. It passed both the Senate and the House, but the governor did not approve that. And so what's going to occur supposedly is that due to with the CARE Act funds or the American Recovery Plan, some of those funds are going to be used to reimburse the 911 program for the implementation of next generation 911. And so we're hopeful that maybe next legislation, we can approach the legislature again to increase the fee once again. Item number 3, the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021. Again, we have not received any updates for our programs. We anxiously await any further updates. So there's no other updates than what I provided to the last meeting, which was the addition of the non-entitlement cities that are also receiving funding from this particular program. So that concludes my report.
Okay, any questions relating to those reports? And the legislative session's almost over, so we'll get a final report at our June meeting after the governor gets ready to veto or sign whatever he wants to do. The next item is item 5, departmental reports. Rick, you're up.
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Rick Carrera, Director of Community and Economic Development for Lower Grand Valley Development Council. I have some agenda items and some brief reports to share with everyone today. The first action item I have is the consideration and action to approve the Regional Small Cities Coalition Advisory Committee's recommendation for secretary. The bylaws for the Small Cities Coalition allow for elections. Annual elections were held a couple of months ago, and this is the they were elected Mayor Rick Salinas of Life, previously Commissioner Rick Salinas, but he has been successful in his mayoral bid.
His IQ went up. Okay. When I was city attorney, my IQ was 80 points lower than it is now as mayor. Okay, so that's an action item. Do I have that's the motion, that's the recommendation. Do I have a motion?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mayor Ambrosio made the motion. Do I have a second? Second, Mayor. Okay. Okay, any other discussion?
This is Mayor Rivera, second.
Okay, all right, thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Raise your hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. A2.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. This is a second action item. Now, the next 3 action items, if I may add here before I move forward with these. These are for agreements that are pending. They're still being reviewed by the parties being mentioned here. Once these are approved by us here at the Lower Grand Valley Development Council, they will be subject to approval by the Texas Water Development Board. First and foremost is the first that we will consider at this point is the interlocal agreement between the Lower Rio Grande Valley Development Council and Hidalgo County for Texas Water Development Board Flood Infrastructure Fund Category 1 project. This interlocal will allow Hidalgo County to procure engineering services for the LRGVDC's flood infrastructure planning study. Hidalgo County regularly procures engineering services for county projects contingent upon Texas Water Development Board approval. The Community Economic Development staff recommended Hidalgo County to enter into this contracting services to perform half the scope of work on task 2.2, 2.3 of attachment A of the interlocal agreement related to drainage characteristics and project feasibility assistance for LRGVDC's grant agreement with Texas Water Development Board. This agreement is pending, being reviewed by Hidalgo County right now as we speak.
Rick, since both of the agreements are the same, Cameron and Hidalgo, can we take both items together?
Sure.
Is Commissioner Fuentes on or not? He's not on? Okay. And we recommend approval of this interlocals pending our legal departments, each counties, making sure and reviewing them.
I had a question because what we're doing is splitting because obviously drainage in one county is a little different than others. But ultimately they're going to be combined into one study.
Right.
And so this just, I think, lets the county participate in the initial stages and pick their engineer and who they feel comfortable and dealt with before. And same thing for Hidalgo County. But ultimately the whole plan is that all this comes together because it's the same flood area in drainage basin. And so ultimately hopefully the idea is to have one plan. We did something similar, I want to say in 2012. 2012. And I asked why we couldn't use that plan in 2012, but I was told it's 9 years old. And so there's been a lot of additional property that's now draining into the systems, et cetera, and some things else otherwise changed. So that's why we're going through this again. My only hope would be this is the last time we spend money on an engineering, we put things in the ground.
Well, this particular study is part of the application and the grant that all 3 counties, including Willacy.
Yeah, it's an $8 million grant.
Right, $8.8 million. The 2 counties agreed to pay the in-kind and working through the logistics with Willacy County.
I think it's a 10%. What's the in-kind? 10% in-kind, and the counties will be paying that. And so ultimately, the 3 counties will have finally a comprehensive plan that hopefully then we could seek funding for and actually carry out.
And this interlocal is for 2 particular tasks of that grant. There's a number of tasks associated with it, but 2 of those are critically important that we integrate as one unit. We also would like to add in this interlocal, and I want to make sure that everyone knows now, is that local cost share if it is available, will be done to maximize the benefits to either of the counties. If we have personnel on board, on hand, within our organization that can do particular activities in those tasks, we will use them and be able to offset some of the costs. And both counties will be looking at that possibility if it is something that can be done. If not, it'll be farmed out to a third party.
Yeah, and
No, they won't get reimbursed from the grant. They'll get reimbursed the 10%, you know, that we have to come up with. They will allow us to use our in-kind. Yes.
$8 million gonna get to what?
It's going to get us a regional H&H study, you know, for the 3 county areas,
right.
which will include minimally 20 specific projects that would impact the whole region in a large way, you know, in different areas of the 3 counties.
But a lot of projects have already been, one point in time, if it's said, why does it cost $8 million to just bring everything together?
There is cyber infrastructure going into a lot of the outfalls throughout the whole 3 county area that will allow you, Mayor, to know what kind of influx of water you will be getting into your city in a particular section. No. It's oh yeah, it's a whole lot more.
A whole lot more. And to be eligible for funding from Water Development Board, you have to, your project going to have to be included in this one. So you got to start all over. I might point out one of the reasons it failed in 2020 was because the end result was to come up with one drainage district, combine the 3 counties, one drainage district. That kind of ended, it ended because of that discussion wasn't ready. So if that's going to be kind of an end result, or I think funding has to be addressed in the study so it's fair to all 3 counties. And because otherwise you're going to fail again, I'm going to tell you. And I don't know what, I'm not suggesting an answer to that. I'm just saying, if you do it without arriving at that, you're going to be years in delay, or we're going to be at the same boat we were before.
Yeah, and you know, to be able to reach into, and Mayor, you're well aware of it because you have a study that is be ongoing concurrent with this in the city of Harlingen that impacts Mercedes, La Feria, you know, all the towns around them too. They went way out of their borders also. That their study also overlays into the COG study. There's a study that is ongoing in San Benito that also overlays into this. There's some studies in Willacy County that they've gotten, and they're all integrated. At the end of the day, the ability to be able to access that $1 billion amount at the Texas Water Development Board for projects requires us to have a strategic plan on how we're going to all integrate.
Yeah, I know, you know, in Hidalgo County, for instance, we have the county is the outfall entity and it's county-wide. So that's real easy from a funding mechanism to do. And, you know, and you guys got to get, you guys are going to have to come up with something before we all get together.
The only problem is that Hidalgo County outfalls either into
I understand
Cameron or Willacy.
I understand.
You know, so we have to.
You got to think that's done.
Yeah, well,
no.
It's not our fault. The water goes downhill.
We're going to have to find ways.
It's got to be
the
fair.
impact
Sure.
will be minimal, and we can mitigate, and then we can be environmentally sensitive. Mayor, do you want to?
And Judge, you know, we've dealt a good portion of Hidalgo County drainage goes through Willacy County. We understand, and we've worked that out in the past. But I'm just saying, I would hope the keyword here is study. We want to have one study that ends all, but part of that study has to be a financial study, and engineers don't do a good job of that. So I would hope that you include that in there.
There will be projects with numbers associated to it.
And how it's going to get paid.
Yes.
It's got to be fair.
Mayor Darling?
Question, Ann, go ahead.
I don't know how to get my hand up on this program, but anyway, I have a question. Does this include the study that was approved by GLO?
No.
Okay.
No, the GLO study is something completely different from this. Okay.
Yeah, that's a reckless study, right? The reckless study? Yeah, I think the GLO one is there's a Clean River Act kind of program, and
that's a different.
That's a different one too. There are like 3 or 4 studies going around. And maybe the next meeting we could have a report from the staff to look up how many studies we got. Some are COG, some are not, some are GLO, some are Clean Rivers Act, some are 2020, which is still a program going on with Mexico and the United States through IBWC. So we probably need to have total study on water issues, drainage, clean water, river, et
Yeah,
cetera.
there's a whole lot of activity surrounding this, and the problem has been historically, everything south of Corpus Christi has been the bastard child at the family reunion when it comes to federal
Right.
and state dollars coming into our area.
Right.
And without a study, unfortunately, we can't access those dollars. So until we pre-position ourselves to be able to access those dollars, we can't do anything. That's the first thing they ask you. FEMA comes in, where's your study?
And I'm gonna go back to what Tim said earlier. We agree, I agree.
Well,
But it'd be better if we had one drain regardless.
Oh, hey, that's easy to do.
What do we need to do to get?
again, my concern is that
We've spent $300 million in Hidalgo County in an irrigation, in the drainage district. Cameron County is just starting now, where mostly it was water districts and a lot of the borrow ditches, et cetera, made up their drainage system. And so they still don't have a drainage district that takes all that into consideration. And so.
Well, we have it, but it's isolated to
Right.
certain boundaries.
Right.
We have 6 of them, okay? You know, but everybody worries about themselves, not their backyards. And
they're all
I think that,
independent fiefdoms.
you know, Mayor here, and, you know, we've been working this battle for many years now,
Right.
and we seem to be getting somewhere.
And then there's a dichotomy, even in Hidalgo County, the county's supposed to provide the outfall. The cities are supposed to provide the subdivision within the subdivisions.
Right.
And, you know, and that's still kind of a little bit of an issue for us in Hidalgo County, although most of it's outfall. And some of it's where, you know, each commissioner gets a little money and helps cities do some of theirs. But I mean, all that, I'm just telling you, we're not gonna solve that today, but it's gotta be solved if we're gonna be successful.
And it's got to be regionalized.
It's gotta be regionalized, and it's gotta be fair. You just can't say we're now gonna create a district without figuring out somewhat in fairness, because we know where all the water flows, but it's gotta be fair to everybody. And I don't know what that answer is, except.
So
Yeah, we gotta pay accountants on this one.
Mayor Darling?
You have to have the plan, but I think so these are plans, and these are more regionalized than we've ever done, I think.
Well, you know, I don't want to talk about Mechanic too much. We just spent $45 million to get water to choke points in the county. We can't get our water into the county system, you know, and so, I mean, it's very complicated. It doesn't,
Exactly.
and anyway.
Exactly. That is we can't, need to, somebody said this, we need to look outside ourselves. And this is definitely one of those situations where we need to be looking outside, because you can't solve your drainage problem within your city limits boundary. It's only solved when you're looking at throughout as an integrated project.
This is one we're absolutely all in it together, and we got to pull together to get this done.
And one of the components of this grant, you know, and I want to thank the COG because we've worked through it for a number of years now. But one of the components is allowing the COG to develop capacity within their organization to help as a region, all of us, in dealing with those issues that can be of regional nature in regards to drainage. So there's going to be money in this study to allow Manny to be able to hire some folks to be able to help him move this along.
Yeah, the COG traditionally has been the administrative end. They don't do the construction end or money, you know, very little things, area agency and some other things, but mainly been administrative studies things.
They can apply for grants.
I think, yeah, they apply for and they get those not easy grants. They're easier grants because they're study grants. They're not the $8 million is going to turn into hundreds of millions of dollars of construction projects. And yeah. Okay, does somebody else have a question? I couldn't see. Ann,
Yes,
go ahead.
Yeah, my only question is I don't want us to lose out on getting our FEMA maps, because the study that was going to happen was to look at how Hidalgo County could fix the land side of the levees so we could finally get approved to have FEMA maps. Our FEMA maps are like 15 years old. And as a builder, it really concerns me that we don't have those flood maps.
Okay, noted. So noted. It's good point. Okay, so unless there's any other items of questions, it's item 5A, 1 and 2 is the motion for approval.
2 and 3.
Oh, you want 3? 3 is a little different.
No, 2 and 3.
Oh, I'm sorry, 2 and 3.
Yeah, the verbiage between both.
Yeah, 4 is a little
almost
different.
identical.
Yeah. 2 and 3 the same except 2 different counties.
Move to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Second. Okay. Any further discussion?
No, for the county, for the counties.
Just the county, that's what the counties have to do before they sign the agreement. Okay, all those in favor say aye, raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, opposed, same sign. Well, congratulations, this is a big deal. Congratulations. Number 4, Rick.
Thank you, Mayor. The item number 4 is the consideration and action to approve a subrecipient agreement between the Lower Rio Grande Valley Development Council and Research Applied Technology Education Services, better known as RATES, for the Flood Infrastructure Fund. They are a nonprofit corporation located in Edinburgh, Texas. A lot of the folks here may be familiar with RATES. I understand they've been around for quite some time. They and the COG established a regional watershed coordination consortium under an MOA agreement in 2019, October 2019, to be exact. The subrecipient agreement proposed would have contract rates to perform work on the Lower Rio Grande Valley Development Council's Texas Water Development Board Flood Infrastructure Fund, that which has been under discussion here. This is a contingent upon Texas Water Development Board approval. The subrecipient agreement is anyway. It would allow them to identify project developed data through real-time hydrologic stations, model hydrology of the LRGVDC service region, and maintain the cyber infrastructure. This is the cyber infrastructure that Commissioner Garza was alluding to just a few minutes ago. Their task would include 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, and 2.1 of the grant.
And they do, they already do studies now on flowage, and this also do some quality studies on the 3 watershed.
Characterizations.
Yes. Rainbow Drain's one of them.
Right.
Yeah.
And before I close out, the subrecipient agreement is pending. We're still on the go.
Okay. And they would make those reports back to the council of governments available to anybody that would want to see them.
Yes, it's strictly, it's written in that subrecipient agreement that all the everything that's done, data, everything that goes with it belongs to the COG and ultimately affects the Water Development Board.
Okay. So then a motion to, any discussion? Motion to approve?
Yes, sir.
Second? Second? Judge? Okay. Any further discussion on that? All in favor, say aye, raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. That's a lot of water stuff right
Yeah,
there.
it's a lot of, I have a few more.
That's the
just a
most
few more
water stuff
announcements.
we're ever done.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I do want to thank Commissioner Garza for taking the initiative to do this. And I know recently he brought a whole bunch of agencies together to talk about the different projects that are going on throughout the valley. So that's great effort on your part. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
That was a week ago Friday.
Yeah. One of our
Federal,
problems,
state, and local.
most of our drainage is in the Nueces Rio Grande Basin, and it flows northeast, And so we all concentrate on the Rio Grande Basin, which is, for all practical purposes, in Hidalgo County, runs south of the expressway, I-2. And in Brownsville, it's very narrow. It's just the river almost. And so almost all the drainage stuff really is outside our area because the Nueces County controls the Nueces Rio Grande Basin River Authority, or Drainage Authority, River Authority it is. And so we've always been excluded because we don't have defined streams. And ours are man-made to that extent. And so we've kind of been taken aback on any state money for drainage projects in ours because our drainage basin, the 90%, 95% of our drainage basin is not controlled by us or any entity. It's
And we have zero representation.
we have zero representation in the yeah. So anybody knows that. So that's when it floods. If we worry about the river, but the river is a really small part of most of our flooding, surface flooding outside of the watershed, the Rio Grande regional watershed, Rio Grande River. Okay,
Mayor,
that's enough
if I may,
about that.
I have a few more comments.
Yes, sir.
Before we move on, I know we've taken some time here, but I would like to just kind of give a shout out, some kudos to the Community Economic Development staff for a very successful tire collection event that happened on May 8th. Ms. Valerie Ramos, Mr. Derek Katz-Nelson, who's with us here at the far end of the room there, Ms. Brenda Salinas, they did an outstanding job of coordinating the event, getting everything together, getting things underway. We had 52 collection sites this year for that tire collection event. We'll have a more formal report for next month's board meeting, but I did want to share that with everybody. Of course, shout out to Mr. Manuel Cruz, went Facebook Live that day and did his part to deposit some tires, drop off some tires at the right collection site. So did want to share that. Another thing, I know some of y'all familiar, you see the banners as you walk into the building here, Explore RGV. We are continuing our giveaways. We will have a giveaway coming up in a couple of weeks. Everybody has until May 31st to sign up for that giveaway. It's a couple of free tickets to some really, really nice venues here in the area. One last, well, I got a couple of things actually. We just released a survey designed for small business ownership last night because under our program, we have some funds that are designed to address COVID-19 and how it impacts economic development facets of the area. We released a survey last night. We emailed that out to about 1,200 people. We're already up to about 40 responses already. It's not the shortest survey in the world. And the fact that we've got that many responses is very, very positive. Given, because I'm sure everybody here can understand, if you see a survey and it's got several pages in front of you, you're less likely to actually fill that thing out. But our response rate has been really, really strong. We posted on our Facebook page this morning, and then we'll make that available to who wants to distribute that out to the small business community. One last thing, we do have a watershed protection event coming up. I believe that is on the 25th. That is a Friday morning event. Good way to kick off your weekend. We'll have some coffee and some pan dulce that's customary to the Rio Grande Valley. An excellent agenda that we're putting together for that. And I wanted to share that with everybody before I close out my comments today. I'm open to questions, comments, if anybody has any.
I have one question and kind of a comment. Every year we do the tire collection thing. We never seem to make a dent in getting it done except for once a year. You know, what's the solution to that? Do most cities take collections at their public works yards or something of tires?
It varies on the city. Some will do it at their recycling centers, their respective recycling centers. Some that don't have a recycling center, they'll pick City Hall and they'll have a container placed there. Those cities that can afford to have their own containers, their own trucks, that kind of thing, they're a little bit better spot because they can pick and choose where they can put the container and haul it off. And some we have a third-party vendor that provides pickup and drop off of roll-offs and that kind of thing. So it really varies. I know, like City of McAllen participated that day. It was at the recycling center. The City of Edinburgh had several locations. And thank you for reminding me. That's a good way for me to thank the City of Edinburgh and the Brownsville landfill because they both contributed in a regional fashion for this because they both provided their landfill services for the drop-off. But it really varies, Mayor. It depends on the city and what their resources are.
Yeah, until we come up with, I think Harlingen had one where you could recycle, but it doesn't work because of the metal or whatever. There's a lot of reasons it doesn't work. So they go to landfill.
Well, when they go to the landfill, they go to the proper disposal services. I mean, they have processors that they send these to. I know City of Edinburgh has a third-party processor that he does, sells them to third parties, that kind of thing, to my understanding anyway. So.
Okay, any questions or comments?
Yes, Mayor Darling.
Go ahead,
Yes,
Ian.
this is the second time I'm going to ask this question about what we did with that inquiry about the Rio Grande Valley having its own processing center. I know it was started during the Ron Garza era, but are we just going to drop that thought or going to continue to move forward on it? And if we are, when are we going to have a conversation about that?
Mayor, Alina, know that we have not dropped that. That's still in our crosshairs. Unfortunately, last time we had to put it on the shelf for a little bit because we were running short on time. And if we would have moved forward, we would not have been able to complete that process. So, but that's on our radar for next round of funding to approach our Solid Waste Advisory Committee and try to secure funding for, I hate to say this, another study for tire recycling or disposal.
You know, we can use the word study the rest of the meeting. Who's on the Solid Waste Advisory Committee? Our board members?
Board members and most of the committees made up of the solid waste professionals from each city.
Yeah. So there's several board members on it. Maybe we can put out for the next meeting who the board members are because it's been a while.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay. Ann, did you have a question?
Yeah, I do. This isn't just an urban project. Doesn't this include the colonias and the rural areas?
Everywhere.
Well, if we have enough advance notice, I think you're going to get, I mean, actually people in the colonias are probably the biggest abusers of putting tires in the drainage, when we all know that story. But my question is if we could get someone to speak on Spanish radio about it and where the sites are, I think you'll find a lot more participation from people who live in the colonias.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think advertising is really strong enough.
Yeah, when you think about it, actually, I had a car. I had to change tires. 'Cause I got a flat, and so they gave me my old tire because I could use it someday. It's been in my garage for 7 years, and I'm too lazy to take it out to the recycling center. I mean, it's so I'm waiting for at the end of my alley, people start throwing tires out there, and I might go get rid of it that way. But anyways,
They make great swings. I mean,
yeah, it is a problem, and it's a logistical problem for a lot of people too.
it's a logistical
No
problem.
question.
It's a
Okay,
money
thanks.
issue at the end of the day.
Yes.
It costs money to dispose tires.
Yeah.
Right.
And when the legislature passed the law that makes us pay every time we go and exchange a tire for that tire disposal fee, well, where does that fee go? No one knows.
It goes into the general fund, and it's
It
like
never
other-
comes down
like the
to,
lottery fee and everything else.
right, so.
We agree. Well, that's something we ought to write to legislature. They need to help us on this thing. Okay, any other questions on any reports? Hearing none, we'll go to Health and Human Services. Mr. Gonzalez, where are you?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Okay, Mr. President, members of the board, good afternoon. I have 2 action items. The first one is the consideration and action to authorize the Area Agency on Aging to issue a request for proposals and vendor solicitation for the next 2 fiscal years, 2021, 2022, and 2023, 2022 to 23. The request for proposals is to acquire services for congregate home delivered meals, transportation, senior center operations. The vendor solicitation is to get the contractors for our case managers to purchase services for their clients, such as medications, medical supplies, medical transportation, homemaker, and respite services.
Okay, and actually the results of that come back to the board for approval, is not my understanding.
Yes, sir. They go to our advisory council to consider the request, and then their recommendations are submitted to the board for approval.
Okay, unless there's any questions, entertain a motion to approve the issuance of requests for proposals and contract solicitations for 21-22. Okay, have a motion and second? Okay, we have a motion and second for approval. All those in favor say aye or raise their hands.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. B2.
Yes, and the second one is, since we have had an open enrollment for our vendors or contractors, we would like to have the that solicitation closed.
Okay. Do you have a motion for that?
Edward Gonzalez moves.
Okay, second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Any program status reports?
Yes, sir. One thing I wanted to bring up is on the expanding of our benefit counselor outreach efforts. Any municipality or any organization that would like to have presentations from our benefits counselors on the services entitlements that seniors are eligible for, please contact us, and we'll be happy to sponsor different events at any community or partner with any organization. Thank you.
Okay. Any questions related to any programs under the Health and Human Services Department? Hearing none, we'll move on to the next item, and that's public safety. Mr. Snyder, are you here?
Yeah, good afternoon, Mayor, members of the board. We have 4 action items for public safety, and they're all renewals of service. All 4 of these items have been previously approved in our strategic plan. However, with the movement to district, we're waiting on the final approval and authorization from CSEC. The first one is to consider action to approve the renewal of the Power Metrics and Real-Time Dashboard Management Information System. Power Metrics Real-Time Dashboard provide the ability to monitor, record 911 calls and text. This is renewable with Entrado to continue utilizing this service for another 2-year term. Services are heavily utilized by public safety agencies to retrieve call records. Purchase is in line with 2020 through 2021 strategic plan for renewal, and the vendor is on the HGAC buy board contract. Cost for this renewal is estimated at $158,172 for the 2-year renewal beginning September 1st.
Okay, I think if it's okay with everybody, we'll go to 1, 2, 3, and 4. If there's any questions, we'll vote on them all at once, if that's okay. Okay, any questions on item 1? Okay, item 2 then.
Okay, item 2 is for the renewal of the 2-year maintenance service for the public safety answering points in Hidalgo and Willacy County. This service is also provided by Entrado and will allow the renewal of any software to provide virus protection software to mitigate any known issues. And this is also on the HGAC buy contract. The estimated cost for this one is $273,195.16 beginning September 1st, 2021.
Okay, any questions on that? Then let's go to number 3.
And number 3 is the 2-year on-site equipment support services for the public safety answering points. This is a 2-year on-site with Western States Communication and will provide ongoing communication services, 911 equipment at the public safety answering points. Technicians will be available 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, including holidays, to address any 911 interruptions in this region. This purchase is also on the HGAC buy contract, and the renewal is estimated at $450,662 beginning September 1st, 2021.
Okay, any questions on that? Then we'll go to number 4, please.
Number 4 is the cost of the renewal for renew to text to 911 for the upcoming biennium. This is estimated at $65,400 for this 2-year agreement to begin September 1st and is necessary to receive 911 text calls. Service is mandatory under the FCC regulations and approved budget item. Again, this is also currently in our strategic plan. And this purchase is also through the HGAC purchase contract.
Okay, any questions on number 4 or any previous items? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion for approval of items C, 1, 2, 3, and 4.
So moved.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. I do have a question. So if I'm Mercedes and somebody's chasing me on the expressway and I call Mercedes 911 and I go into Cameron County and Los Fresnos, do I have to call 911 again?
No, you can be transferred, Mayor.
They can transfer.
They can transfer.
Any coordination? I know 911s are kind of at each PSAP as each city, but is there a coordination between the Cameron County system and the Hidalgo County system?
Currently, we're working on moving, once we move over to the EZNet, which that movement will be completed next week. We are in communications with Cameron County to not necessarily merge the network, but to essentially share resources.
Is there been discussions? Is it cheaper or better for the citizens if we merge, or is that just something that Cameron County and Hidalgo County and Willacy County don't want it? What is Willacy County on? You with Cameron County? Huh? With us?
No,
Hidalgo.
Yeah.
Cameron County's by themselves.
It works real well. Cameron County said it's working real well. The heck with you guys. Okay, just wondered. You didn't say that.
If you're running from somebody, Mayor, we can get you the help you need.
Okay. Okay. Any program status reports you need to cover?
Just the standard text screens for the status reports as to the call volumes. Everybody's still working and working on the levy. We had a meeting last week with some of the individuals from the levy. So we're going to begin coordinating with Corps of Engineers with their GIS personnel here in a couple of weeks to make sure that there's no discrepancy in the border wall names and things of that nature, to make sure that everybody can find whoever it is that they need if they're dialing 911 from a levy.
Okay. And then Regional Police Academy, are you going to go still virtual or you're in person now?
No, sir, we've been back in person now for quite some time with the Regional Police Academy. Currently, Mr. Vargas has actually opened up testing again, and the next round of academies should begin this summer to include the Day Academy. I know the Mission Day Academy and the Harlingen Day Academy are on pace to graduate, I believe, next month, which will be followed by Hidalgo and Edinburgh shortly thereafter.
Thank you. Any other questions for Mr. Snyder?
All of these agreements were renewable with the same entities or agencies. Were they all renewed at the same amount? Or was there a percent increase on the fees?
My understanding, there wasn't an increase at this time. The item number 4, the text to 911 services for the upcoming biennium, we are still waiting on clarification with CSEC as to whether or not it's going to require a separate PO to pay Entrado separately, or if it's still going to be part of the AT&T network system. So there's a little bit of a hang up in there that CSEC is trying to get some clarification on. And as soon as we have clarification on that, I'll be happy to provide that to you as well.
Okay. Any other questions? Hearing none, we'll move on to transportation. Mr. Logan.
Good afternoon, Mr. President and board. We have 3 action items for procurement. Our first action item is for procurement of fare boxes for our rural fleet. This project is funded 100% by TxDOT. And this fare boxes will ensure that we're compatible with both Brownsville and McAllen systems. And we will be able to reach our goal of having seamless fare collection system in the valley.
Okay. So any other questions on this? Is on D1, action to approve procurement fare boxes for Valley Metro Rural Fleet. I have a motion to approve.
So moved.
The motion second. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 2.
Consideration and action to approve procurement of building security camera system for Valley Metro facilities in Edinburgh, Westlaco, and Harlingen. We're getting a state-of-the-art camera system that we're going to be able to monitor via a cloud base. This project is funded 100% by our FDA grant.
Okay. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, entertain a motion. Motion second. All those in favor say aye, raise your hands.
Aye.
Opposed, sign. Motion carried. 3.
Consideration and action to approve procurement of a route match Uber software upgrade. This is to empower our dispatch center to dispatch and schedule trips for our demand response and our new fast ride service, microtransit service that we just launched here in the Valley. So with this upgrade, we're going to be able to use the Uber platform that everybody has on their cell phones to look at what trips are available, how much is it going to cost them, and how long will it take them to get the unit to their location and to travel to their destination.
Okay, I had a question. I would suspect it has to be cheaper than Uber. Why would people use it instead of Uber?
Yes, we will be subsidizing part of that cost. And the main objective of this is to transport the elderly and the disabled. That's why they have the priority of reserving their trip in advance. And then same-day service will be open to anyone.
You like work with the AAA for that area agency on aging to make sure that people are qualified? Is that how that's going to work?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, I entertain a motion to approve item 3. Motion second. Motion second. All in favor, raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Any questions on Valley Metro status reports?
Mayor, if may I do want to cover the TxDOT annual review results. I want to thank both our procurement department and finance department for handling this really well. We passed with flying colors. I think our system was checked on 11 different areas, going from grant management to maintaining our fleet. And we received really good review from TxDOT.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. Any questions or comments? Okay, hearing none. Thank you. We'll move on to item 6. Oh, did I have to do the MPO? Oh, yeah, the MPO.
Mayor, the only update I have is pending approval by the TxDOT Commission. In the morning, it would appear that the new TxDOT Executive Director is going to be Mark Williams, which really could turn out to be a good thing. I think several of us in here have worked with him all the way back to the I-69 corridor days when we were having the segment committee meetings and everything. So he's very familiar with the valley. He's very familiar with many of us who work down here. So if that turns out to be finalized in the morning, I think that will provide more ample opportunity for increased dialogues with the commission and administration up in Austin.
Now the state's going to get a bunch of money. Are they going to allocate that for, and it's supposed to be infrastructure. So what can we expect from that, if anything?
I think that's a perfect conversation for the new executive director. I haven't caught wind, honestly, Mayor, of where they're looking on that. There hasn't been any, I didn't see any guidance through legislative session on where to go. So I think we're sort of pending to see what's going to happen with that.
I think there's going to be a special session on budget. And
we're
so
expecting one on budget and then, of course, one on the redistricting.
So, yeah, redistricting important. But yeah, we really need to be involved in that special session with our legislative delegation because there's a lot of money going to be rolling out of that.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Thank you. Anything else? Questions, MPO? And then item 6, new or unfinished business. Ann? Okay. Ann, that's surprising. Ann, you had some new or unfinished business.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry I'm speaking so much at this meeting, but I'm concerned, and I guess this is where I talk about it, about what happened to the HARP program, the Home Affordability Refinance Program. I know at the RWRAC meeting, the water, whatever it is, resources and advisory committee, they came a year ago, GLO came and talked about, this was for 2018 and 2019. I was under the understanding this was going to be somewhat like the Dolly flood recovery program. And the next thing I know is that the last RWRAC meeting, a gentleman by the name of Elijah Casas just announced that he was going to be doing it for GLO. It wasn't going to be, we weren't going to be running it anymore. The COG wasn't. And not only that, but that the ability to make comments was closing in 4 days. And as an advocate for people who need this, who had housing damages during the 2018 and 2019 flooding, I mean, it didn't give us any time at all to advertise the program. But then I was just really shocked that all of a sudden the COG had nothing to do with it. Where did I miss something along the line?
Manny, go ahead.
Yes, well, we were as surprised as everybody else. As the board might recall, we've been tracking this back since June of last year. And at that time, they weren't ready for it until just most recently. We kept our eyes on it, asking questions, but they would never respond to our request other than, you know, it's pending. And so at this time, and I don't know if Mr. Rick Carrera has any other inside information, but I believe last time when Hurricane Dolly occurred is because at the time GLO was under a transition and they really didn't have any agencies to lean on. So we, as the LRGVDC back then, Mr. Ken Jones approached the agency and we gladly took it on. We were ready, willing and able to do that once again. And that's why we would always kept us asking questions as to the status. But again, we were just as surprised as everybody else, the way it came out from one day to the next, and with closing comments, public comments taking place that quick.
Right. Yeah, and I'll echo Mr. Cruz's comments. We were frankly a little shocked also. We were ready to go on this and expecting us to be part of the administrator of some of these funds, but right now all we're doing for the GLO is disseminating information as we receive it. And that's been about the status of this thing since it got announced, how long ago, 4 or 5 weeks ago, something like that. And I know we noticed the same thing about the public comment. We posted it on our Facebook page as the link, and by the time we caught wind that it was going to be getting ready to close, you know, better late than never kind of thing. We posted it with probably 24, 48 hours left for public comment to be provided. I don't have any insight for you beyond that. It's just kind of how it's worked out. I know their office is right across Business 83 from the COG here. I peeked over there just this morning, as a matter of fact, after leaving Mr. Cruz's office, walking back to mine, and I didn't see a whole lot of activity going on there. You know, I would not let, you know, a 5-minute glance on one particular morning be representative of what's going on over there, but they have an office across the way. They've hired a third party to do all the administrative work on this and everything under the sun, from what I can tell, when it comes to this award. I'm afraid I don't have a better answer for you, Ann.
Yeah. Well, I just think somehow we need to make a formal complaint against GLO, one, public comments, but the other thing is that I know it was a concern on Dolly that we would be able to hire local contractors as much as possible, and that's not going to happen now that it's being run out of Austin. But the other issue is I'm not surprised there isn't anybody at their office, because they haven't done anything with those of us who are advocates for low-income housing to educate us on how we get people to apply. And again, it's the same thing with, as it was with the census, we don't have broadband in the colonias, and it's a very complicated application. And they're going to end up saying, well, there's no need for people in the valley to have their houses fixed or replaced or whatever because of the flooding. And that's going to be their conclusion. And thanks to Mr. Cruz, we are going to have them come to our housing coalition meeting next Wednesday. But I'm just really disappointed because, first of all, we have not been given the information and the tools that we need to help our constituents apply for it. And I don't understand. Brownsville, I understand the CDC of Brownsville is going to be doing it down there. So why didn't they find a local person here to take care of it in Hidalgo County? So
I would suggest we write a letter from the board with the president to sign it to GLO and send it to local representatives about how this has been a bad process.
Bare minimum, we'll be in touch with Mr. Casas after this meeting just to kind of share some feedback with him. He's always open to feedback. I will give him that. He's been very helpful and attentive and responsive every time we've made attempts to reach out to him.
So we'll leave it up to the staff to do it. So Ann, make a motion that we send a letter from the formal letter from the board. Making a
move.
Second. Okay, guys, second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, well, that'll take care of that.
thank you.
Mayor Darling, this is Mayor Salinas. I don't know if he did this with every city, but I know that he kept contact with us and made presentations at our city meetings. And there is a schedule. I know there is a schedule out there that had areas for people to come in and to apply, and had dates when those places were going to be open. I know that Willacy County had one this month, and so, you know, again, I just wanted to share that he had reached out to our city, and I don't know what about the other cities, if he made some presentation with each individual city or not. But with Lyford,
he never contacted the long-term recovery committee that Susan Helms at First United Methodist coordinates. She's the facilitator, and they've already closed the 2018-2019. So she was really disturbed when he called her this last week that he was like about 6 months late. But anyway, I think a letter would be good, and I appreciate your doing that.
Okay. Any other business come before the board? Yes.
Mayor, this is Veronica Gonzalez. I just have a quick thank you I want to give to everybody on the board that has been supportive of the university's bill to expand the graduate medical education for podiatry. As we know, we have high diabetes rates here in the Rio Grande Valley, and we need people that have special expertise in the foot, and because we see so many amputations. And so we had a bill this session to expand the graduate medical education to include podiatry, and it has now passed both chambers, and we understand the governor supports it as well. So thank you all very much for that. I hope that we will start to be able to see some residency program down here for podiatry.
Thank you, Veronica. And
Mayor, this is Sergio at the partnership.
go ahead.
Yeah, regarding special session and the legislature, as you will know, we host the legislative tour every January. Due to COVID, we couldn't. We are in communication with state leadership to host a tour here in the Valley before special session. We'll follow up with the dates. We alternate, so it'll be Cameron and Willacy County. Special session dates have been tossed around from June to September, so we're trying to get a sense of what's going to happen there. We'll keep you posted on that as well. And then regarding TxDOT, yes, we're working also with TxDOT on hosting a mobility conversation with leadership as well in the fall.
Okay, thank you, Sergio. We look forward to that.
Mayor, just a quick note, hearing the resolution on public comment for the concerns brought up by Mayor Molina, it might not be a bad idea to have the appraisal districts do a short PowerPoint of about maybe 5-6 minutes on the process. I happen to serve on the appraisal district board and chair that for them. Everything that is done at the appraisal district is done according to statute that exists from legislature.
Right.
We have no authority as a board to freeze anything or to delay a date on anything.
Yeah, they're talking about that right now. They're speaking.
So I think it's important that all elected officials hear a little bit about that. Right. They're not informed in regards to what the district board can do and what they are responsible to do. So I'd like to ask Manny to maybe invite the 2 or 3 districts to do a short presentation for us at one of the next meetings.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, and if they combine them so both counties can go, because it's same law, same rules. Yeah, good idea. Okay, so we're gonna do that. We'll schedule that. It's kind of, next month it'll be too late, but it'll be ready for the next year, I guess. And hopefully we'll do that. Never too late. Yes, it happens every year. Okay. Any other business?
Mr. President, I'd like to turn over the floor to oncoming Judge Guerra.
Okay.
President.
Judge Guerra, you're gonna be.
Rio Grande Valley Development. Let me read this to you. Mayor Darling for outstanding leadership and dedication to the President of the Rio Grande Valley Development. And I want to tell you, Mayor, that on occasion I hear your name pop up here and there, right? So I think you've been a leader not only here in the Development Council, but elsewhere, not only in the city of McAllen, but you pop up, all over. So I congratulate you on your leadership.
Thank you, Judge. Appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. Well, thank you.
And Mayor, on behalf of myself and LRGVDC staff, I want to sincerely thank you for your leadership, your outstanding dedication for all these years to the LRGVDC. It was a great honor to have my first year, especially with you. You've been here. You're a great leader, and I thank you for supporting the LRGVDC always. And I know you're not going anywhere. I think you're going to be around, so I won't cry this time.
No, thank you. It's been a pleasure. It's I think 14 years on the board as elected official, and so it's really been a pleasure working with all you guys. I think we have the best. I know we have the best Region 12 Municipal League. I think we have the best Council of Governments in the state. I've been around some of them. And so I appreciate all you guys' leadership, and I'll still be on the board, not as an elected official, so my IQ is going to go down 120 points, but I'll still be around on Region M and all those, and I hope to continue to work with you. So it's been my pleasure, and you guys do it all, make the job really easy, and staff does a fantastic job. We really ought to be proud of our staff and thank them for what they do. So thank you very much, and without any further business, we stand adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Huh?
I got a box.
Okay.
Did you sign on my minute?
No, I will though.